Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Out of the Box Developer. I was just miss. I I was close to mistakes with Saturday meeting, but sorry. But yeah, let's go. Today we're gonna have a very interesting guest to talk about becoming technical references, some important skills to develop while you are in this journey. And yeah, but before calling him, let me just say hello to everyone here. So, hello, Luis. It's great to have you here.
Hello, Hugo. How are you doing?
Fine,
Yeah,
thanks.
I'm looking forward for this conversation because for you to become a technical reference, I think you don't need only technical skills. You also need some other skills that we will talk here today. So I'm also looking forward for this conversation because our guest is a very cool guy, a guy that I already saw in some events. We had the opportunity to have some conversations, and I'm sure that people will love this conversation today.
Great, great. And yeah, and you, Chila, how are you?
I am fine, thank you, and good evening, Hugo, and everyone who is joining us today. So I'm looking forward to this conversation to know, to discuss what beyond technical skills, what are the other skills that are needed if you want to become a real technical reference. And I'm looking forward to today's guest.
Perfect. Yeah, because going becoming technical reference, yeah, there's always a great shift and challenges, right? Everyone starting believes that it's only coding or some tech skills, hard skills you have to develop, and it's far away more than that. Awesome. And you, oh, Igor, so I see you enter here, so thanks, man. How are you?
Hi Hugo, hi Lucila, Thiago, everyone watching us. It's a pleasure to be with you guys here again. Great subject, a great guest. We also have lots of questions. And yeah, exactly, Sila. When we are looking to become a technical reference, you must be much beyond just technical. Because as I've mentioned in some of the previous sessions, uh, the developers that are just coders, they are deaf. They're out of market. AI will vanish them, and that's a great subject to be talking with Pedro, with our guest in this session. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. I just realized that we are doing a lot of mystery about the guest, but it's on the title already. So.
Exactly.
But yeah, let me just say hello to Thiago and then we can bring Pedro. He's just waiting for us to call him on the backstage. So, hey, Thiago, how are you?
Hello everyone. I'm great. Glad to be here. Very excited to talk about this subject. I think it's very important for everyone that wants to grow in their career.
Excellent, excellent. So, without losing much more time, let me say hello to Pedro Carrijo. Hello, Pedro. Great to have you here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, before we get started, I think you are one of the guys that have a great background story. A lot of things, especially regarding to the Java community and all the stuff you have been doing to share your knowledge. And yeah, I heard a lot about you before we get here. And yeah, what do you think to share a bit about the story about yourself, and then we can start with all the discussions around technical references.
Sure. I talk so much, so I will try summarize um, a lot. But my professional career started when I was very young, when I was 14 years old. But I started to study program when I was 11 to learn how to do games and things like that. When I was 14, I started as a C# mobile developer. So my first job in a company inside my city. After that, 1 year later, I received an offer from Oracle, and I started at Oracle when I was 15 years old. I worked in Oracle for 9 years. I passed for many positions. So first of all, innovation specialist, and the last position as a senior cloud solution engineer, focused in a pre-sales role, so a technical role with soft skills that is needed. And now, yesterday, I started at GitLab as a senior solutions architect, also a role in a pre-sales role, right? And yeah, I love participate in tech events, give lectures, what lectures, do demos, blog posts, things like that. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And with all of that, I think you grabbed a lot of experience on becoming technical reference, right? Since you moved to a now a senior architect position,
Yeah.
and you wrote a article talking exactly about that. I will share the link here with everyone on the chat, and yeah. Uh, what is the um, what is the biggest challenge you had by about this topic by becoming a technical reference about what is the biggest challenges or I don't know mistakes that you would like to avoid or to advise people to avoid while trying to becoming technical reference.
Yeah, first of all, I think that as I said, I talk so much. So in my beginning and until today, I need to pay attention to listen more and talk little, right? So this is the first point that I think that is an advice for developers, because the technical side is important, but listen our audience is more important than that, because technical we could change and the pain point we couldn't change, right? So this is a point.
Yeah, it seems interesting because I'm specifically writing a series of articles about the role of a software architect. And one of the main key aspects of an architect is exactly that point you mentioned, Pedro: communication. And not just talking, but listening, understanding, and not only talk. It goes even beyond. When you talk with the business people, you need how to speak to that business people. When you talk with technical people, you must talk with them in a technical way of communicating, right, Pedro? You can even talk a little about that as well, since you act as a software architect these days, right?
Yes, yes, activity listening and the clear communications is essential, because if you could listen the pain point from the customer, you need also um, be able to has have a clear communication to provide the solution, right? So for me, the solution makes sense, but how can I say that to the customer and the customer understand the solution, right? So clear communication with simplifying complex ideas. For example, today we see so much people presenting something technical using so many jargons, right? So specific and very technical words, and you could, for example, compare a Kubernetes cluster with a kitchen in a restaurant. So so many other peoples without technical side could understand and understand the benefits, right? So for me, this is the way that I learn. When I am learning something new, I search for simple analogies to compare with my day to day.
it's the similar to the Feynman technique to learn, right? When you have to teach someone as you are 5 years old,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's really challenging. I remember when I had to go uh, to promote an event on São Paulo's very far from the downtown, and yeah, I end up having to talk about architecture for children from middle school, and it was the toughest situation I get because I didn't know what to talk to them. I didn't know how to connect to them. I didn't know their day to day what these days kids are are interested in. So yeah, it is really challenging and make us think a lot about to simplify the complex content, right? Complex concepts.
It's a
Um,
great exercise, right, Hugo? Because you just cut too much jargon, too much words. You don't go too
yeah,
deep. You just give it the big picture, and for most of people, that's what they need to hear. If you go too deep, they start to question things that maybe is not on their side. That's why I meant when you talk to with technical people, most of technical people, they want to know that very deep. But with a project manager, with a stakeholder, that's different way of communication.
Yeah. Yeah. Additionally, talking about AI, for example, Igor said previously, today the technical side and developing is very linked with business because before of AI and these all technologies, if I developed something in my house and this was a big technology or thing like that, I could promote and sell or thing like that, and my solution is a unique solution or uh, almost the unique solution. Now, if I develop something today, tomorrow we'll have something built with AI that do the same thing that I did. So the solution not is the most important, the technical not is the most important, and yes, the solution for the problem, right? So if I have the problem, I have the solution. If the AI evolve, I change the solution and things like that. Focus on solution in technical side and the impact on the business. If my solution is very great for me, but for the business is more expensive or is delayed to implement, things like that, another solution will override me. Yeah.
Exactly. Because the business, what they want at the end, they want something that solves their goals to revenue
Yeah.
more or to solve something. And if you're empowered by AI and you can deliver it faster, but I believe these days you need to go. You need to go. You need to know what you're doing, not to rely 100% on AI. We've seen cases of AI deleting databases. No, that's your responsibility on how to handle this tool. It's not a replacement, it's a tool, at least on the time of this live. It's a tool that empower us to help us. So yeah, and even catching that a question for you, Pedro, since we're talking about becoming a technical reference in this AI world that everyone can be empowered by AI. Not everyone is empowered, but they can. How do you do that? I believe we mentioned not just being on the coding side, but being on soft skills, on architecture. I want to hear a little bit more from you. How do I become a technical reference for a company in this AI era in this AI era in general?
Yeah, great question. For that, the main point that I always say is about focus in technology or in new subjects that is important for you and for your customers and company, because every day launch a new tech. If we need to learn all things, we will got crazy, right? So it's impossible. So the first thing to become a reference, I always use it, was understand my audience, my public. In this case, are Java developers. So my focus is Java, and I understand how Java developers could use AI technologies in their day to day. So, for example, recently I posted a blog post about MCP, Model Context Protocol. This is a protocol in AI, but has another protocols as agent to agent, another other tech, very other technologies, so much other technologies. But I focused on that because this technology is a way to build APIs without REST or SOAP, and yes, with natural language. So you could call your functions as APIs talking with a chat. So for me, become a technical reference is not learn about all things, is learn about what is needed to you and what is could help other people, right? So Java developers don't need be and know all things. But MCP, for example, was a technology that I see and I posted about it.
I see. It kind of become a natural flow, right? Because if you're using that in your day to day to solve things, and you will need it anyway, and then you start writing and posting about that and
Yes,
sharing about that technology.
yes.
Makes
When you are when you are studying and learning something, the concepts for me is the main point. If you know the concept, the practice, how to do it in practice is the a little detail, because if you don't need today, you don't need learn today. But when I am learning, I love to do a demonstration, a little demo with the concepts to really understand, right? And after that, with a demonstration, I already have material and content to do a blog post, to do a LinkedIn post, to do a lecture, right? Because I already have the demo, I already have the concepts, and now I studied simple analogies to pass this knowledge to other people. So I have the material and I'm not the specialist in the area, but I could position me as a reference in this area because I know how to do and what is. Okay.
That's
Excellent,
amazing.
Pedro.
Go ahead.
Uh, I had a question about sharing knowledge, and since you already told us something like that, um, I would change a little bit my question. I was about to question to ask you if it is important to share knowledge, but you already said that is important. But how much is important for you to become a technical reference? Uh, what would you say, like the importance of sharing what you know with people, and what is the best way for you to get the right audience?
Mhm. Yeah, the share of knowledge is very important. As I said, I use this framework to learn and use that I learned to create a content, and but to become a reference, I think that you need to focus on be more simple than ever, right? So because if you use, as I said, technical jargons or things like that in your posts, blog posts, and demonstrations, so little people will interest in that, right? So okay, I'm very technical guy. I'm very better in that, the best in that technology, but so little people get my content and see my content because my my form, my way of past knowledge, right? So for me is that you asked two questions. What is the second question? Sorry.
How can you get to the right audience?
Okay. hmm Yeah, for me, in my case, how I got my audience, understand my profile first. So I always loved Java and program, but today I didn't program my day to day anymore. But I know the pain points and issues that developers could have. I'm not a developer in day to day, but I already was, and now I could help this person because I have my background and understand their issues, right? But Pedro, if I never was developed and I today uh, would like to help them, it's important to understand the other side. So search about the pain issues, the pain points, the main issues, and things like that. In my case, I have this background, so it was more easy to understand, but it's possible dependently of your side.
Yeah, Pedro, since you mentioned on your first answer to Luis' question about not getting too technical, I believe that what that makes is that it becomes too much specific for someone that is just looking for that very particular thing. If you go too deep into something becoming too much technical, I even tried something. I'm not even trying. I'm trying that on the new series that I'm writing. That it's storytelling.
Yeah,
If you don't do that on the on maybe writing about Java particularities, it's a little harder with storytelling. But for architectural challenges that you can face on a project, on a company, it's very delightful to
yeah,
introduce storytelling. And I could read that, and that's great story, but it's a big text. So what I tried on my last post was to introduce some gifs that
hmm
illustrates the story that I'm telling. Not a lot, because the idea is not to become a carnival, but to have a great article that is nice and clean to understand. But yeah, I totally agree that not going too deep into technical and making that the easiest as possible to understand. Something that I always want to say: make the hard thing easy to understand. That's the
yeah,
the, the
yeah,
great point.
yeah. I don't use today so much GIFs or image because I am very bad in design and things like that. But I use it so much storytellings. So,
Yeah.
for example, in this article that is the matter of today, the subject of today, I told a little story about my career when where I was with a customer presenting a tool, and I received the previous information about the interest in this tool from the customer. And when I started presenting, I not just present and talk without ask. And during my asks, I realized that wasn't the correct tool for this customer, right? But this customer wasn't very patient, right? And with that, I closed all PowerPoints and materials, opened a whiteboard in Zoom, and started designing and drawing their issue. So understand, okay, you are here and you need to achieve it, and this is the way. And inside the draw, in a specific part, I realized the specific tool, and after that, I opened the correct material and presented the correct tool and the correct feature that the customer was interested, right? So I used this storytelling to tell how to use these soft skills in our technical side. It was a technical presentation, a technical tool for a technical people, technical team, but I needed to use this soft skill even with all technical around. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's how real communications happens
yeah,
between teams, between persons. They don't happen in bytecode
yeah,
or in Java. They happen in dialogues between two people. And if you tell them a story, how that happened, you help them
yeah.
understand that process much better.
Yeah, sometimes we could say, okay, do you need have a clear communication, but what is a clear communication, right? With giving a storytelling or example of our day to day, of an example of another people that you know, is a very nice form and way to understand better how to use.
Hey, Pedro, asking questions is something that I do see as a clear communication. But some people also, maybe when you're in a junior position or in
Mhm.
smaller positions, they often confuse that you're asking questions with this
Yeah.
guy knows nothing. How do you what would be your suggestion to handle this difference if you have something that we can tell? Because I understand, not I'm not sure if you agree with me
Mhm.
that when you ask questions you are trying to really understand what the customer needs or what your team, your partner is trying to communicate to make sure what you're doing right.
Yeah. Yeah, the truth is that in senior position or beyond the senior, you will have more and more questions, right? So in the junior position, in the beginning, the starting of professional career, we use it to thinking like that, that questions is something bad or thing like that. But the thing that I always say is technology always evolve, so it's impossible learn all things. If you need to learn something or to understand better some concepts, ask question is the main way to do that. And when you understand asking question, you could help other people that have the same question of you. So ask question is the main object goals of our career beyond the senior. Because today, for example, I'm starting at GitLab as a senior solutions architect. I have so many questions, and if I think, oh, starting in a senior position, I couldn't do questions or things like that, I will delay my start and my progress inside the company because of that, right? So obviously, if I could find the answer in Google or things like that, first I try it. If I didn't get my answer, I could answer to my colleagues and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I
take,
totally agree. And by the
take
way, congratulations to your new position, Pedro.
Thank you.
and taking advantage on this topic, you that are watching us, please put on the chat any question that you have related with this subject. Enjoy this opportunity and ask here if you have any questions regarding to this topic. And actually, I have one, Pedro.
Okay.
Because becoming a technical reference, it's not a easy thing. You talk a lot about sharing, and these also help you probably to improve your communication skill because sharing, it's basically a communication thing that you need to do with your audience. So I would like to know about you. What is the hardest thing to do that to share? What is the most difficult thing that you have to pass through, and how do you deal with this thing? Because again, it's not an easy task. It's not something that you spend only 1 hour per month, probably.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's not so easy.
To be more easy, I use the that framework that I said, that use what I learned today, the demonstrations, and create a content with that. But the hardest part for me, to do posts and things like that, is be confident of me that I'm doing the something good, because so many people could think, if I post about a subject that I'm not the specialist, I'm not have 10 years of experience or things like that, the people will get to me, and the I don't know the correct word, but as a syndrome do impostor, right? So imposter syndrome.
Syndrome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
imposter syndrome.
yeah. So for me, this was the hardest part, because I had my framework already built. I create something. I use this to create a content. So I'm not expend so much time with that, hours or things like that. And but to be confident that the people will not judge me, right, because of that. So I think that is the hardest part of all people. Be confident of your content, and when you are giving a lecture, and in the at the end of the lecture, other people get to you and ask questions, you have also to be confident. And if you don't have the answer, say this answer I don't have here, but I could bring to you in another time, right? So I think that become a reference, a technical reference, is understand that you will post things that you know today, but with that will arrive other questions about that you don't know today, right? So is be confident and use your day to day to facilitate our posts, blogs, and things like that.
Cool, cool. I think using the our own experience, I think is the best way to share, because that it's
Yeah,
your experience, so no one
yeah,
can judge you. Before continuing here, I just want to say hello to Kawe Marquis, Samuel Costa, and Edifris. They all posted here on the chat. I don't know what happened. We probably our platform our counter of people watching are broken. If you are watching us and say a quick hello here, we're gonna be happy to just to make sure you are there. And if you, as Thiago mentioned it, if you have any question, Pedro already gave the advice here. And if you want to go beyond senior, if you want to go beyond in your career, it's a great way to getting started.
yeah,
And yeah, and I want to add a question with this, Pedro. With your in your experience, there was some tools, something that
yeah.
you used
Mhm,
that can help people get into. I know that communication is a great thing to learn, but it's not. It's many ways to
mhm,
practice communication, right? It's too open here. Did you make some specific use it some specific tools, some specific method habits that
mhm,
that made you actually share knowledge, or I don't know, or create better communication
mhm.
skills?
Yeah, yeah. I used it to use uh, own methodology, but I recently discovered that AWS, for example, call star method. That is call about
Mhm.
your problem, about your solution, and about your results in a summary, right? In the correct order. So with that, people could understand what you need to bring with that, right? And asking more about the last question, for example, the facilitate blog posts and things like that. Today, I every day I use AI to help me. So I use AI to help me learn something. I use AI to help me understand simple analogies. I I don't need discover simple analogies alone. I could use tools for that, right? And train these analogies. With that, I learn more and I learn how to pass the knowledge more easily. So yeah, I used this methodology that I said and tools like AI to help me. I something that I like so much to do. I instead I did write an article for me about X subject. I first of all I say I would like to write an article about X subject, and I would like that you ask me so many questions about this subject. I will answer you with my own words and with my own experience. And after all that, I need that you organize these words in an article structure, right? So after that, I have a new article from zero with my own words, and I used AI to help me to do this faster, right? So is an example that I use.
I love this method, man. It's
Uh,
amazing. Yeah, cool way because yeah, usually we do ask AI to do stuff for us, and when you revert the action and ask him to ask you,
yeah,
it made more sense to create your own content and you.
Personal, right? You
Yes.
create a dialogue with the AI that becomes an article. It's an
yeah,
interesting approach.
I shared here on the chat the Wikipedia talking about the star method. If you are not familiar with star method, it's a very interesting way, not just for practice communication, but also for interviews. I see AWS and other places they use this kind of question and this kind of format, and it's very interesting. I still have to practice more, but it's interesting to know that you use this star method for not just interviews, but for yourself to communicate, to organize ideas and communicate better. One of the I for me myself, I think result is very interesting to stop and think about because we do usually when we talk about some our self story, we are very attached to emotional stuffs. And about the results, I don't know. It was just good at that moment. So yeah, that's very interesting to see you using this method.
And this star method, I just took a look at that. If you see, most of these steps, they are all about making questions. It's a self coaching. You understand what you were required to
yeah,
achieve, what did you do, what was the outcome of your actions. And it's not a method itself that answers it, it's you. It's all about coaching. You coach yourself to get into the better results, the better responses, and
yeah.
they use that on their interviews, from what I could see here.
Yeah,
It's
in my example, for example, I in my day to day, I talk so much. So if I need to explain to someone my project and I talk without a specific method or without a personalized message, I will talk so many
The whole
and
day.
never end, right? So in star method give this to us to not only star method but the this methodology give to us this more concise message and focused message, right?
Yeah, Pedro, I will schedule an architecture call with you alive, but you reserve a 3 hour from your time because it will take more than 3 hours. Because if you tell me that you talk a lot, I do talk a lot.
Yeah,
We need to do that for 3 hours, the minimum.
yeah,
That's great, man.
I I don't know if it's interesting, but for who is watching us, just to let you be on the same page. We when we talk about star method, they mean S is for situation, task, action, and result. So that's the star meaning, and then it helps you organize the some story that you need to talk. You need to talk in, for example, in an interview. But now Pedro just shared it not only for interview.
yeah,
It's very interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting to have it in the mind.
Yeah, and since you guys mentioned, Pedro mentioned also the imposter syndrome, that I believe that everyone has felt that at a certain point of their career. And judging, people are always judging you and everyone. People are judging us right now, watching our life. You have no doubt about it. But who cares? If you don't give them power, it doesn't matter. On the other side, we have people like Kawe here that is telling us awesome live. It's really helped me a lot and will definitely help me in my career. We are glad that we are helping you. This is what really matters. So when someone says, you know nothing, think on the other side that people needs what we are doing here, that we are sharing, that's why we need to build trust. And when you write about something that you master, yeah, that's even easier because you write that with confidence. If that's something new, master it, write about it, try to perfect it. Like Pedro mentioned, use AI to learn more about it. We do it all the time. We cannot know everything. Just to put a think on that point.
yeah. A point that I think that is very important also is understand a little about other areas that is not your main area, right? Um, here you have uh, different people. The people that defend the generalist profile and the specialist, right? I defend the profile generalist with a specialist area. So I'm not the constructor of this tool. I'm not the guy very specialist, but I this is my focus. For example, Java, and I also understand and learn other technologies as cloud, containerizations, Kubernetes infrastructure. Oh, Pedro, but you worked as an engineer before, and we had an architect with you. Why understand about architecture, for example? Because of that, today I am in a solution architect position. We could open more doors if we could understand better the technology, and with that you could become a reference more easy than normal, because if some people need to talk to you about Java and you could say Java with other technologies, this point will be more impactful for the people, because oh this guy know Java and know how to connect Java with other technology that I never seen before. So but maybe in my side have another guy that is so much specialist in Java than me, but I position me as a specialist and a reference, talking more about around technologies inside my focus, right?
Yeah, maybe that guy is knows only about Java in depth,
Yeah,
but you as a solutions architect, you know about Java, but you know about the whole context. You understand that the role of an architect, it's not just knowing how the garbage collector and the
Yes.
Java memory and the Java virtual machine. That's very in-depth knowledge. The business doesn't care how Java handles the memory. They care about profit, about making the business grow to
Yeah.
achieve goals. And that's where the architect comes. And of course, you're not only the guy that is going to answer to business. You need to be a guy that is a reference about the title, a
Hmm.
technical reference to the technical team, to the developers.
Yes.
That's why you need to know about the technology so they can respect you as a technical reference.
Yes. That is a point very important, because if you just know and are very good in on one technology, isn't the same thing that you are good in this one technology and know around technology, right? So it is another positioning, is another vision about it.
And well, another question here, maybe we shift a bit, but when I think on your story, when did you realize that uh, uh, you're trying to become a technical reference and you're missing these points? When did you realize that? What made you realize that? Oh, I need to work something else.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. As I said, I started my career very young, so in the beginning, I I hadn't so many contact with customers and things like that. I was a developer in my day to day. I developed something with emerging tech, blockchain, IoT, things like that. And one day, maybe I presented to some customer in the innovation lab in that time. And when I become a solution engineer, the customer facing impacted me so much, because I was the guy, very technical, machine guy, right, behind a computer and just that. And I needed to learn how to talk with people and how to show value in my technical side, right? So if I go in a tech event and a developer ask me about the technical side, in the beginning I could answer very well, but if some director or a manager or another people in the technical side but not very technical side ask me in the beginning, I hadn't this capability to to pass the knowledge, right? So this is was my change key to to start study about soft skills and learn with my colleagues in that time that already had so many years in this area.
Cool, makes
Yeah,
total sense, right? Yeah, when we have to face our customers, I think
yeah,
we're gonna face a
yeah,
lot of different level of people, directors, from directors to
yeah,
engineers, and also within engineers. I think we start to feel these limitations or constraints when you try to
yeah.
uh,
And if
communicate.
you wanna to grow as a developer, in some time you are become a guy no very technical, because you will need to talk with C levels and things like that. If you don't talk with C levels or something like that today, you have some space to grow until there, and after that some many space to grow more. But if you are growing as a developer, you will realize that your technical side will reduce, will not remove or delete of your life, but it will reduce, and your business side will grow more.
Yeah, and Pedro, just since you mentioned that, what would be your advice for someone that is just in that place as a senior developer, senior engineer for many years, and it's kind of looking to go to jump into more on a role of for an architect?
Mhm,
What would be your advice for someone that is right on that position, that
mhm,
he knows how to build systems, he has been building that for many years, and just wants to go more on a definition side, more on architecture side, and not being touching uh, too much on code. Of course, as an architect, as we have mentioned, if you were going to be the technical reference, you need to know about that. Sometimes you need to put your hands on it. But if they want just to change from just an engineer on the team to become the guy that is defining the architecture of a system of a company, what would be your
mhm,
suggestion for someone to
mhm.
do this upgrade, if I could say that?
Yeah, in that case, as a senior position already in a technical side, so I would say that the technical side is very evolved today. So okay, you will use all this knowledge that you have today, but now focus on business value. Focus on how your knowledge could bring value to your company or another companies, right? And always think in a upper way, right? So see the things in the up vision, above the solutions, and not just inside your product or thing like that. So my product today don't it doesn't solve my customer problem, but I could bring an open source technology that I could integrate with my product, and with that my product between codes will solve their problem. So for the customer, you are solving their problem independently of the technology, and you are also inserting your product with that, right? So you are technical yet, but you are thinking also in a business value and how you could bring your product with value to the customer, right? So yeah, your technical side will continue. It will be very important to you, but you need to understand in a superficial way, in an upper way, the solutions in all, right?
Yeah, it's the change from a coder to a problem solver, right?
Yes, yes,
That's great.
I
yes.
have plenty of colleagues that's gonna be sad that, oh no, I want to be focusing only on technical stuff. I'm a technical guy. But yeah, I think the reality is that if you of course if you want to stay where you are, that's fine. But if you want to grow, the you have to, this shift's gonna happen. You're gonna be much more focused on the value you bring to the business, and then you still programmer, you still use some you still have to evolve your technical skills, but not at the same amount of effort as before, right? I think it changed a lot for me as well. I do much more less coding, and more this managing stuff, but because I'm more I went to this management stuff, but yeah, I think that's the reality, right?
Yeah, and that's great as well, Yogo. And for those transitions, especially if Pedro, you're in the architect role, Hugo, you're in a management role. For someone just continuing the subject, that it's on, I have been always a senior engineer, and I understand everything we talked to help these people, these engineers, to prepare beyond an engineer if they want to go on this path of architect or a manager. And do you see that an engineer can just apply? I'm, let's see, um, getting the guy that wants to make that jump. I want to become an architect. I want to act as an
Mhm.
architect. And I have a whole experience on engineering. So I will just apply for an architect, or they will refuse. This guy has been always an engineer. I don't want to know. Or do you believe that recruiters, companies, they understand that a good engineer can be a good architect, or they will kind of say, what's your experience, how many years as an architect you are, what are the barriers for someone that wants to go on this growth path?
Yeah, very great question. And for me, the people that had years of experience in technical side, in the very deep or thing like that, have more facility, a more in a easy way to become a problem solver. So a coder that already had so many years in technology to become a problem solver will be easier. It's because today, in the past, for example, we hadn't AI to solve our problems. So and the problem solver is that guy, is the guy that know how to solve problems. And if you today use AI to solve all of your problems, you don't have the specific experience that you need to become a problem solver, right? Because you don't have AI in all time in our day to day. So for me, the senior people today have a way easier than that who are starting today with AI and all world with new technologies. And about if engineering could apply to architect is very normal and recommended because engineering profile is very used inside solution architect in architecture profile because is a technical guy with a commercial side. So, for example, in my interview, my technical side uh, was very important to decision to be the choosing candidate. So the soft skills is a thing that some people say that is harder to learn than hard skills, but it also possible to learn soft skills. It's not impossible. So in that case, GitLab, for example, is a very technical company. My technical side, it was very important for that. And in another company that has the same profile will be also, right? So engineer could be architect and architect could become engineer again. It's just a change of sides, very technical to very technical with a business side, right? So yeah, today, for example, we have so many solutions architects that aren't so many technical, and this could difficult in their day to day, right? So technical side is very important.
Great, great. That's great. Great to hear. So for
Yeah,
everyone that looking to do this kind of movement, experience matters.
yeah,
Join with what you're aiming to. If you're aiming to go on architect, you need to understand what architect does. If you are aiming to go on management, you need to understand what manager does. I believe it is even changes more drastically when you become a manager, but that's a different subject. So thanks for the answer, Pedro.
thank you.
And as Pedro said before, communication is a very important skill and can help also you to achieve these positions inside your company. Because if you have a good communication skills, you'll be able to talk with C levels and
Yeah,
manager these kind of people, and then you can have this kind of opportunity to become an architect or manager or something else. So yeah.
Yes.
And if you are a engineer that are also open to or have this business side well evolved, you're very demanded in the market, right? As we know, at least my team is very common. We do see a lot, look after a lot of people that can connect these both things because, yeah, in the end, we need people that is. If you want to give autonomy to people, they need to know to balance these both sides and focus on what is better for the business. That's really cool. Cool insights you bring here, Pedro. And yeah, I would like to ask you if you have any. We are reaching here close to the end of our session, but I would like to give you space to, if you want to give a last advice,
Yeah.
and your also your social medias, if you have any, to so people can connect with you.
Yeah. My last advice for about our conversation, I would like to say that if you become a a a person that bring money to your company or help in the sales, you become more expensive, right? So if you want grow in value, for example, and you uh, already are very technical, you could use this experience to become more expensive, helping the company to gain more money, right? So if
Oh,
you sell, you are very important, and the architect or engineering solutions are positions that are side by side with salesmen, right? So it is a technical position, very interest to grow. Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, and do you have any social
Okay.
media link, or I
Yeah.
don't know if
Yeah.
you have, if you
I
usually
mhm.
use some of them?
Yeah. In professional profile, I use just LinkedIn, and I
LinkedIn.
have my blog post, my blog also, that
Mhm.
is pedrocarrijo.dev, and my LinkedIn have the link in the chat, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that. In my blog, I post all about Java with other technologies, cloud native, AI, and things like that.
Awesome. Let me just share your LinkedIn here so people can connect with you. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you, Luis. I just pick it from LinkedIn. Cool. Okay. So thanks a lot, Pedro. It was amazing conversation, discussion. It reminded me a lot of things that would be nice to know earlier as well, and it would be nice to have watched someone like you sharing this knowledge. I think
Thank you.
there will be we're going to be able to help a lot of people that is in exactly in the same moment. When you have to shift a bit, you have to. I know a lot of people that are on this moment actually. So yeah, amazing.
It was a pleasure stay here with us. Thank you for the invite and the opportunity.
Awesome.
Yeah, my
Right.
pleasure to Pedro. It's great to have you here. A great conversation. I believe this is a great subject for everyone that wants to become a technical reference to grow in their career. And thanks for being with us and talking about this subject here and bringing your own story, your own real story. And congratulations on your new position there on GitLab.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go
Thanks
ahead.
a lot. And also thanks to the audience. Thanks, Pedro. Thanks for sharing this amazing content. I do agree with you. It's very important for many people. I would like to have watched this session on the past by someone. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's very helpful.
thank you all, and thank you, Pedro, for the great advice. So
Thank you.
enjoyed very much.
Really enjoyed the conversation, Pedro. Thank you so much. And I will start to use today the method about asking AI to ask me about things
Yeah.
to write an article. Thank you so much for that advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great one. I will try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So everyone, thanks for watching us, and see you on the next session. I will finish
Take
here. Bye
care.
bye. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
guys.